Hey everyone, last week we started creating this purchase order app. We connected to SharePoint. Now we can connect to Dataverse if we want to too, but I'm strapped on time right now. The Power Platform Conference is next week. Then we have TechCon Dallas coming up. So I just want to knock this out. What I promised is that we would go over how to create a download button in our app. So we're going to have our purchase orders and then you click a button and it downloads. So I'm going to reach out to Power Automate because I just like to use Power Automate. It makes things simpler for me. So we're going to reach out to Power Automate and create a download button for our Power app. Let's get into it. All right, so this is our data here. We connected it to this Power app. So this Power app we have here, we can have someone in here. I'm not sure, Barry, how about that? All right, let's do a Halloween theme one. What's Halloween? Of course, Jason Voorhees. I don't know if I'm going to spell that right. Crystal Lake. And so we can add items in here. Add different items. Let's say there's a lake. You're going to buy a lake today. And let's say there's a cabin. A lake on Crystal Lake. A quantity of 1. A very high price. And then you have a log cabin, and then we have a quantity of 10 and also a pretty high price. And so right now we can literally hit save and it's going to write this to SharePoint, right? It's going to clear out our list, write this to SharePoint. And so if we come in here and we do a refresh, we can then see our purchase order here with our lake and our cabin. So right here you can see it is grouped by that purchase order. It's actually grouped by this squid. And we can see our two purchase orders together. So a couple things about our view here, right? It only shows the last 31 days or later. So it only goes back 31 days and then shows the newest purchase orders. That way we don't reach over 5,000 items, and that might break our group by. So let's go back to Power Apps. And in Power Apps, there's something I wanted to do. I wanted to create a download button of the PDF. So let's say we have some more data in here. Let's we have Freddy Krueger, right? He has claws for Freddy. 1, not that expensive. He also has a striped shirt, or let's just do shirt, a striped green and red shirt, right? So he also has a shirt. Now what I want to do is when I click the save button, I want to write HTML. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to break this out actually. Let's break it up into different buttons. So 1 button, 2 buttons. So we have 2 different buttons. This one is going to create our HTML. Right, this one's going to create HTML, and this is going to be our download button. And nothing in the on select on either one of those right now. So I'm just breaking this up for now. We're going to put some of it in the save button properly. But right now I want to create an HTML. Now how am I going to do that? I'm going to just make this the simple way. I'm about to go to TechCon. I'm going to show you how I can do this really, really fast. And that is I'm going to reach out to Copilot real quick. I'm going to say, hey, Copilot, write this HTML for me. Let's try that. So I have Copilot here. I'm going to take a screenshot. I'm going to take a screenshot of my gallery. That's what's important to me right now. And we're going to go to Copilot and say, I want to write an HTML from Power Apps to Power Automate so I can create a PDF. Here is the gallery I want to write. Let's just see how it does, right? It's late. I need this productivity gain. Help me write this HTML, please. And so we can see here, it kind of goes in here and it's looking very good. Look, this record, all that's looking good. Concatenate all items. I see the table headers up there. That looks good. Okay. This is looking pretty good. I'm going to copy that straight up right there. Create HTML. I'm going to paste that in. All right. So we have gal items. It kind of came up with its own name. What we actually want to do is our collection. So here we have a collection that we're collecting. Let's kind of see it here. A collection, it's collect my entire gallery. We created that in the previous videos. So collect my entire gallery. So we created that collection in the previous video. If you want to figure out how we did that, you'll have to look at it there. It's converting it to text, that's fine. It's converting the price to a text. All of this looks pretty good. I kind of like it. It sets variable HTML. Right? I didn't have to do much thinking about this. Okay, that itemized list, let's change the header to purchase, your purchase order. We could probably put someone's name in there, right? There are other fields. So let's take a look at here. We have customer name, address, and GUI ID. So I just want 2 more fields. Let's do customer name. This is where I'm going to manually write these in here. So we have our table, and we're going to write in BR. Oh, we need a double quote. BR customer name space and text customer name dot value and BR. It's a break, right? A BR is a break. Break and text. Oh wait, we need to write address and then text address dot value, and we just need another break in there, maybe a double break, give it a little extra space. And then I think that's how we want it. So all I did was manually add in these 2 fields at the top, right? So that's all I did, is I manually added in those 2 fields at the top. Then we have our table, and it loops through our gallery and it writes our table, right? So now I'm going to send that to Power Automate. But first we have to create the Power Automate. So I'm going to come over here on the left side. I'm going to go to Power Automate. I'm going to create a new flow. It's going to be a brand new flow. We'll start from blank. All right, so Power Apps v2, what do I want to pass to Power Apps? I want to pass my HTML. So it's going to be a text field. I want to call this something different, text HTML. Now we're going to say compose. I'm going to compose. Now you could do a variable if you wanted, but I'm going to pull in the text HTML. So from Power Apps, we're passing in the HTML here. The HTML is being put into a compose statement. Now we're going to create the file. So I'm going to reach out to OneDrive. And the reason I'm doing OneDrive is because I know, after many years of learning this stuff, that in order to convert from HTML to PDF, one way to do it without premium is to use OneDrive for Business. And so I'm going to create a file. And you probably want a folder path. I don't have any folder paths in my OneDrive right now. Backspace, let's go back in here. Purchase order. Let's see if it creates our own folder for us. Maybe it will. Maybe it'll create a folder for us. The file name. Let's make something unique. We could pull in someone's name. Let's do that. Let's pull in their name also. So text. Let's pull in variable customer name. So now we're also pulling in customer name. So variable customer name, but on top of that, I want to make sure this is unique. So I'm going to add in UTC. I'm not going to convert it. Just give me UTC now. And this is .html. And the file content is going to be from our compose. So from the start, we send our HTML. It goes to our compose. We grab the customer name and we use that in the file name. All right, so let's just leave it for there. We're going to do more work. Let's just leave it there for now. We'll name it download our PDF. So all we're going to do right now is create a file in OneDrive. And let's make sure it looks right, right? We don't want to do all this work and then realize we made a bunch of mistakes. All right, so we're creating the HTML here. We created the HTML. Let's put the download. Let's do it here. Let's do it right here in the create HTML. Now we're going to run our Power Automate. In order to do that, we use the name of our Power Automate. So download our PDF. You can see it right here, our pdf.run. And it's asking for two things. You see that? Text and text_1. And look under there, text HTML. Those are our fields that we requested. And the second one is variable custom name. So the first one, the HTML is actually right here. We set the variable. That's our entire HTML. And the variable customer name is text customer name dot value. All right, so now we're running, we're creating an HTML and we're running our Power Automate. So let's go ahead and hit save. Let's create the HTML. You call those little marching ants, and they ran up there really quick. It did run flow. So let's check out Power Automates in our flows. Right here, download our PDF. That's our new one. You can see it ran successfully, stepped through, it created the file. So let's check out OneDrive. So in OneDrive, we should have a new file, and it made the folder for us. Even better, it made the folder for us. And in this folder, we can see we have Freddy Krueger with the UTC time. We open it, and we see we have our file, but we're missing our table for some reason. So let's figure that out. Why did the table not come through? Let's go back to Power Apps. Let's look at the HTML. Something was wrong here. Collection. So let's see. In my collection, my gallery. Oh, I never collected. So I never collected. Okay. So I actually have to hit the save button. All right. So I'm not going to remove that. I don't have time to remove all those errors. You're just going to have to stick with me. I'm going to move this HTML into our save button. So in our save button, we clear the collection, we patch, then we clear again. Before we clear, I want to create the HTML and run the flow. Create HTML and run flow. And I'm going to actually comment out all of our resets while we're testing. Right, so while we're testing, I'm going to comment that out. I'm going to hit save again. Let's see, I need Freddy Krueger up here. And the address is 123 Elm Street. Okay, so now this time when I hit save, it's doing all that work. It's saving, it's writing. We can see a few seconds ago, we have a new one. A few seconds ago, we open it. We have our purchase order. We have our customer name, our address, and what they ordered. All right, so that's working. That's working. We have HTML. Let's go back to Power Automate. Now we need to convert it to PDF. So OneDrive, convert file using path. That should be fine. Yep, convert file using path. The path is going to be our root purchase order. And we can pull in one of them in there. And we're gonna update this, right? So we'll just take this right here, the file name, and we'll replace it right there. So it brings in the trigger body underscore UTC now HTML. And we want to convert it to a PDF. Perfect. I want to create a document. So in SharePoint, I want to create a document, create file, and the site address is going to be our inventory app. The folder path is going to be our shared documents. Make sure I'm not in the way. Our shared documents. The file name comes here from convert a file path. File name, file content, convert file path. All right. So now we've created the file in SharePoint, right? Now, after I create the file in SharePoint, there's one thing I want to do, is I want to respond to Power Apps. So in Power Apps, there it is, respond to Power Apps. That's what I want to do. All right, and then the output is going to be a text, and this is going to be my variable URL. So I'm responding with my URL, and that is going to be from create file. That is going to be the path, and I believe that may be the full path. We'll figure that out. But so we're responding with the path, and then I'm going to hit save. So let's walk through it again. We start Power Apps. We compose our HTML. We create the file based on HTML. We convert the file. We save it in SharePoint. We probably want to do one thing, and that is in OneDrive. We want to delete the old file. Delete file. The file identifier, oh, it's kind of like over on the edge there, is right here when we create the file. That's the ID. Let's make sure that's the right one. That's the ID we want. Yes, it is. So now we're deleting the file from OneDrive, okay? That way our OneDrive kind of stays clean, but SharePoint is for our document retention. All right, let's go to Power Apps. Let's go ahead and give it another try. So if we look at my SharePoint library, we can see it's empty in here. I'm going to hit save, and it's going to run that flow, and it failed. This happens a lot. I'm going to leave this in here again. I do this all the time, and that is because you need to come in here to Power Automate in Power Apps, and you need to do refresh. And when I do this refresh, it's actually going to break my flow. And the reason it's breaking my flow is because there's a variable that comes out of here. And so the variable that comes out is that new URL. So I want to set variable URL with our Power Automate flow. So now it's not broken anymore. So the respond in Power Automate is being pushed out to a variable in Power Apps. All right, let's give it a try. I'm going to delete the Create HTML button. And let's try and save again. It's running Power Automate. It's running. All right, so let's check out SharePoint. And in SharePoint, if we go to our document library, we can see the file is now stored in our document library. So look at that. The file stored in our document library. Wonderful. If we pull in our variable, so our variable right here, if we pull in our variable of our flow, which is variable URL, right? We can check out what is returned. And what's returned is, what does it say? It says it's a record. Variable URL dot variable URL. Oh, I made that confusing. Wonder how I can fix that. Let's return, let me show you how I can fix that so it's not so confusing. In the save button, it is doing, let's change this to variable URL in Power Apps. All right, so let's change it to in Power Apps. So now you'll be able to see in our flow, we have variable URL, and let's change this one to in Power Automate. So this is the pass, right? So it's doing a pass from Power Apps, from Power Automate, back and forth to each other. So let's try this out again. So let me run the flow. Probably need to refresh it. So refresh the flow. This is a question that may come up. And then let's run it one more time. So save. It's running in the background. It's probably going to create a line item in here, and it did. You can see it created a few seconds ago. It should delete itself. It did. It's now gone. So nothing is staying in my OneDrive anymore. It's just there temporarily until it's passed on to our document library. And so you can see here a few seconds ago it was created, right? A few seconds ago it was created. And then in Power Apps this time, if we set up a variable, and I'm going to name it, right, var url.powerapps dot varURL in Power Automate. So that's where that comes into. And so we can see our path. There's our path. Very useful for us because now we can create a download button. So now our download button, it only accepts URLs. You see that address or URL of file. But there's a couple things. One thing is we don't want the file to open up in browser. We want the file to download, right? That's what we want. So for the file to download, I'm actually going to hard code my URL in there. So I'm going to grab my SharePoint list URL. And so up here, I'm going to say download. Actually, let's see. Download. That's fine. Download. And then we'll say my inventory app. And then we're going to say underscore layouts / download.aspx source URL equals, and what does it equals? All right, so after source URL, we're going to say, and what are we going to put in here? We want the path again of our SharePoint site. The path of our SharePoint site, no slash. And then we want our variable in Power Apps that's pulled from Power Automate. And let's see, what am I missing? Why is there a red squiggly? Oh, we need a parentheses. There we go. So now we have our full download path. All of that looks great. I have in here 4 items: claws, shirt, hat, jeans. Let's change the shirt. He needs 5, 3 hats, 2 jeans, 2 claws. All right, so now we have our nice gallery. We have Freddy Krueger. We hit the save button. It's running Power Automate. It's collecting that HTML. It's converting it to a PDF. We wait for the marching ants to finish. So you maybe want to add a spinner. We hit the download button and it downloads our Freddy Krueger file to our hard drive. And that's how I would create a download button. I know this is very long-winded. That's the way I would do it. Let's go over the entire thing. This clears our gallery and collects a row except for our button, right? That's what that does. And then for all, it collects the current gallery. Let me move that, except the last button. So that's what that does. So this clears the gallery. Then this collects and removes the last row, which was a button. Then we're patching our table into SharePoint. So this is writing to a list. And it patches our fields. Someone said we should make this like a float. What I would do is I would change this to value. That's the correct way to do it. I'm not sure why I did int. I've been going between programming languages. So let me move me again. So we have, these ones are all from our gallery and they're repeating through each row in the table. These 3, you can see blue, maroon, and orange. Blue, maroon, and orange. That's where that comes from. And then we patch it. Then we created this HTML in a few seconds using Copilot. Made a perfect HTML for us. We gave it an image. Then we set our URL and we called our Power Automate. And our Power Automate passes in the HTML and our customer name. Then we are going to clear everything. And so then we clear our gallery and then we reset our back button and clears out our text fields. So let's just run it one more time. So that should clear it. Right? So as that Power Automate is running, it's running. And then the last thing that it's going to do is it's actually going to clear out our fields. But you can see we still have our file here, download. We have our nice file perfectly set up for us. Thank you all for watching. I hope this was helpful. My name is Andrew Hess. I'm sorry if this was really rushed, but I got a lot to do in the next 2 weeks. So if you're at the Power Platform Conference or if you're at TechCon 365, say hello. I'll see you there.